everybody, to a brand new edition of Getting Color right here on thebigvitobrand.com. I am Virtue, being joined by the man himself, as always, Big Vito LaGrasso. What's up, man?
How's everybody out there? I hope everybody's doing good. Please remember, Patreon is closing down. Go to our Twitch channel. Go to our TikTok channels at the Big Vito Brand, Big V Mafia. Check us out, guys. We could use the likes. We're even on YouTube again. So hit us up, the Big Vito Brand. What's going on, Mr. Virtue? I know you got some action for me today. Go ahead and give it to me.
There's a lot. And so we'll start off with this. Ric Flair's last match. It was Ric Flair and Andrade in a tag team match versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. And of course, I think officially Ric Flair his team went over, but at the end it was one of those where I think as soon as he locked the figure 4 on Jarrett, he did not sit up, so it looked like they both got pinned down. But I'm sure he was out of gas. Didn't know if you caught the highlights. But what is your thoughts on Ric Flair's last match? And I guess medically he's checked out okay the last 24 hours, which is most important, that he's okay.
Okay. My thoughts on the Ric Flair last match, and I want everybody to listen closely. Everybody's entitled to do what they want in life. Nobody should have any restrictions on things, okay? Ric Flair was one of the greatest professional wrestlers of our generation and the generation before. The Ric Flair I remember, and I was within WCW, that's the Ric Flair I remember and I know. When you saw the Four Horsemen with J.J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ric Flair, Ole Anderson, that was the Four Horsemen. That was Ric Flair in his prime. That was Ric Flair. The gentleman at WrestleMania, when he was sent off with Shawn Michaels, he still was regarded as Ric Flair. He should have, that was a good send-off. When you keep going to the pond and you're the greatest, sometimes you're better off just leaving your legacy alone as one of the greatest. Is it my thing to say that he shouldn't have did this, he shouldn't have did that? No, he's his own man. He could do that. Whatever he wants. Hello, Annette. How we doing? But after watching what we saw last night, okay, sometimes it's better to sit out and just let them praise you and live off of what you've done and accomplished. The pay-per-view in itself, there are a lot of people who showed up to pay tribute.
Yeah.
Okay. There were some great things that I saw from the pay-per-view. The greats sat out. Undertaker was there. He didn't participate, which I thought was a great thing because he didn't have nothing to prove. Right? J.J. Dillon was in the crowd. He stayed off camera. I thought that was classy. Watching Arn Anderson come on in a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt ruins my look of Arn Anderson as the enforcer of the Four Horsemen. The segment with Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett, and Crockett was vintage Memphis Wrestling 101. That's what we should go back to.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I saw that and I was like, wow. Vicky Guerrero was in the house. Charlotte Flair was in the house. Lex Luger was in the house. I'm not sure of all the rest of the people who were there.
Your buddy Mick Foley was in the house.
No. I'm getting to it. Sometimes it's better just to sit there as a Hall of Famer and not be involved instead of trying to partake in something just so you can get, yeah, how you doing? I'm available. Hey, how you doing? I'm here. Hey, I'm relevant. I can't stand Mick Foley because he's an opportunist. What business did he have going out there on that show? Nothing.
Now, I get it, and I knew you were going to say that. So what was your thought with the DDP spot with the diamond cutter. I think it was Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona.
Zack Ryder showed up with Myers. I know they're on Impact, and Zack Ryder has been out with an injury.
Because DDP looks good. He still moves good, but he only does his thing and gets out. Gets in, gets out. But I want to know, you said that about Foley. Same thought with DDP?
I didn't think that Mick Foley, that DDP needed to do that.
Okay, that's
DDP is royalty. Mm-hmm. He's a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famers need to sit aside and you sit on your accomplishments. You don't need to do anything. This is what got me, right? I saw Harry Smith and I saw the other kid. What's his name? Who did he fight last night? Fought can't think of his name. The kid got released from NXT.
Can't think of his name either.
All right. Anyway,
was it that Dexter Lumis?
No, it wasn't Dexter Lumis. It was the guy who had the wife, and both of them got released.
Oh, Killer Cross.
Killer Cross. Okay.
Yeah.
The match was a technical match, but both of them came out and it just didn't have no oomph. The Battle Royal was a Battle Royal needed in this show. There were a lot of guys there. Wolfie D was there. He was part of Memphis history because he worked in Memphis. I believe James Storm was there. He's part of Nashville TNA. I could see those guys partaking in something because they are part of Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis history. There were a bunch of guys who I didn't know in there. They were in there to be in there, be part of the show. I think the guy from Las Vegas who does all the scary stuff, Nick, what's his name? Anyway.
Wasn't that Sin Bode, was it?
Sin Bode, that's it. Sin Bode. Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Kizarny, yeah.
Kizarny, right? Kizarny.
Yeah.
There's some guys who probably wanted to be in there just to be in there. There were some guys who did not need to be in there because their legacy is something of greatness, and they didn't need to be in a battle royal. My opinion, if you attain a certain status in the wrestling business, you keep that status in the wrestling business after your wrestling days and after the fact that you were a primetime player and not just doing this part-time. You don't have to be on every show. You don't have to be on everything. But you ruin what you accomplished and you ruin your status just to be in a battle royal. I'm not saying all those guys, some of those guys needed to be in the battle royal to get some TV exposure. They did. Some guys should have presented themselves in a higher manner because that's what they are deserving of. Yep. I'm not burying nobody. I'm saying this very, very elegantly. This is not a come on to where, I'm trying to make. This is what I think of these gentlemen who did not need to be in that battle royal. Mick Foley did not need to be in this thing. To come out in a friggin' pair of sweatpants and a shirt, did not need it. The Undertaker stood there dignified. The one guy who everyone is missing, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan did the smartest thing. He didn't show up at all. Why? Because his legacy and his being Hulk Hogan put him above this to where he showed up to an indie show to sit in the crowd for Ric Flair when he sees him on Monday nights at karaoke.
I'm shocked that Undertaker was there.
Well, I don't know if Undertaker was at the roast. Bret Hart was in attendance. Okay. Now, Jeff Jarrett being
I thought he did the best. Like he to me stole the whole weekend. Like he looks like he's really like he's in a big spot in WWE again in terms of backstage.
He is.
He's like bringing it.
Okay, I'm gonna get to Jeff Jarrett, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett, congratulations. You got your life together. You got a great job. You got your wife by your family, man. Just like the Jeff Jarrett I knew back in the day, right? You're doing excellent. The way he came out and the way he did his stuff, right? That's the Jeff Jarrett we know and Jeff Jarrett we love and appreciate.
Yep.
Okay. That's the Jeff Jarrett I respect now. If that was Jeff Jarrett's last match, I have no problems with that because he went out in like a class act. Okay.
Yep.
Andrade and Jay Lethal, they weren't the mega things in that. They weren't. They were just the let's get Rick to the finish line pieces. Respectfully, not knocking them. They're good wrestlers. Ric Flair being in the ring at 76 years old, he had a problem walking down the ramp because his belt wasn't on correctly. You saw the awkwardness.
Yep.
Okay. Did he need to walk out with the championship? In my opinion, no. To everybody else, maybe so. But he didn't need the prop to say he's Ric Flair, 16-time world champion, my opinion. Because that's how I was broken in. You don't need to wear a belt to be somebody. You just need to be the man. His words.
Mm-hmm.
The match, it is what it is. I'm not going to criticize anybody in the match because it is what it is. You're different athletic abilities, different age groups. You said Jeff Jarrett brought it. Jeff Jarrett did well. He did good. He's when your mind is straight and you got your life together, you can do great things. When your mind is not together, you don't do great things. I saw Charlotte Flair in the crowd and she grabbed Karen Angle's hair. That could be a prelude to something of bringing her, Karen Angle, into the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a piece, could be something of a rivalry. Don't you put your hands on my father. Good storyline to come back to, right? The whole place being sold out of 10,000 people and Summerslam was missing half the stadium. I give kudos to the Jarrett, Crockett, Jerry Lawler, Memphis TV.
Now, let's not laugh at 40,000+ still, but you're right. When you rent out a stadium,
yes, sir.
You should know you have to fill it or go back to an arena. So I agree with you there, but they still drew 44,000. I know that number they give is lie.
Right, but the number they give and then the pictures you see afterwards, okay, and then they put the fillers on top and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But you didn't sell out your building for the biggest promotion. Ric Flair sold out 10,000 seats.
Yep.
So if the Crockett promotion came alive again and they said we're going to run Memphis, Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett, Crockett, Ric Flair, do they draw?
Memphis, yes.
Yes.
Tennessee, Memphis, all that area, Nashville, yes.
The Memphis Coliseum is sitting there empty. Who were the kings of Memphis? Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett, his dad, Crockett, Ric Flair.
Skull Von Cross.
Back in the day, but I wasn't a main player. I was part of some greatness. I was part of a great angle created by Jerry Lawler and Eddie Gilbert, respectfully. And I got to work with some of the greatest people in the business. You saw Rock and Roll Express.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a prominent role in the program, and he should have had a promo. He should have had something instead of a tag match. I didn't. When I saw that, I was like, for some reason, that got excluded. Ricky Morton had a rivalry with Jerry Lawler, and Ric Flair back in the days when Memphis TV, USWA was prominent. That was a big angle, right? So what's to say you shouldn't have had Ricky Morton do a more prominent role or be in an interview? My opinion. Vicky Guerrero was in the house. She sat there like a lady, did not participate. She didn't need to. She let her aura sit there and be in the crowd. Um, Kid Rock was there. He didn't get involved. He came to watch the match. Bret Hart was there. He didn't get involved. He sat back. Right. I believe there was some other people from the roast there. I think Rikishi was there. I think Nia Jack was there. I don't know if she went to the show, but there were other people there, and they stayed back out of the limelight. And they just were in attendance, which was cool. That's when you know your stuff is good.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know you are a primetime player, right? Being part of the show when you don't have to, you don't need to be. It's better sometimes to sit out and sit with the greats than to partake in something that tarnishes your own legacy. It's just my opinion, because when I was wrestling and you were regarded in this way, right? You handled yourself different. And I came up from that Ric Flair era where he was in his prime. Jerry Lawler, and I was privy and I was blessed to be involved in Memphis wrestling to learn about the greats that came out of there. Guys, sometimes you just did not everybody has to be in the show just to walk down the ring like a dutz and just, hey, I'm here, hey, and go like this. You don't need it.
Yeah.
What does Matt Cardona? I'm not saying anything about Matt Cardona.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. They were in TNA. It was like all club. But why did he need to get a diamond cutter from Diamond Dallas Page? You make a run in. You're supposed to have the guy. You are the man with the belts. You are champion, right? You present yourself as the man with belts coming down. Maybe you observe. Did you need to take a diamond cutter? Jacob Fatu did that beautiful moonsault over the top. Athletic guy, right? They say, okay, how come he's not in the WWE or TNA? He does wonderful in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That was somebody who impressed me when he did that flip over the top rope. I was like, son of a bitch. That was awesome.
There was one guy that flipped out of the ring and almost cracked down on his head, but he was caught. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Yeah, I did. There were some things that were good, some things that guys didn't need to. The Battle Royal, I saw the guys laying in shots in that Battle Royal. I was like, I'm glad I'm not in that. Not to saying that, I don't want to be there. I don't want to do. People say to me, you don't do this and you don't do that. I've said this for years.
Mm-hmm.
Always do prestigious things, always do big things, always do great things. Right? I was blessed and I was lucky to break in the business to 15,000 screaming people in the height of wrestling, both at WCW and the WWF. So when it comes time to performing as a kid in the business, and I was there, right? Here I am performing in front of 15,000, 20,000 people at TV tapings, whatever. That's what I'm accustomed to, the big time, the big things. When I go to some things and I look around and I'm saying, I don't belong here. That's just Vito LaGrasso.
Would you rather perform in front of 25,000 people but a stale, a dead crowd, or 8 to 10,000 but hot for the territory, hot for wherever? Well, there's more people, but the smaller group's hotter, more reactions.
Yeah, everybody wants to wrestle in front of a big house. Everybody wants to wrestle in front of a hot crowd.
Yeah.
But it's if you can make it the hot crowd for them to cheer for you.
Good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So just for say, hypothetical question. Now, if I was asked to be in the WWE, if I was asked to be in the Battle Royal, right? I would not have done it. I'm going to say, no, that's just not me. I never was in a Battle Royal to be a filler to a show. I was never in those. And I'm being completely, swear to God, honest with you guys. Right? probably the best battle royal I was in is the All Japan Battle Royal in 1998. But when it comes to being in battle royals, the other one was for a gentleman who passed away. And I said, okay, I will wrestle from number 1 to number 50 to put the guy over at number 50. And I wrestled for an hour
Ooh.
because it was a charity thing, and it was for wrestler from Philadelphia, Verdi, kid who passed away, right? Um, I just I just don't know. I just don't know. Sometimes I just look at things and I see where the business has taken a turn, and I see where business can take a turn back because maybe guys are not taught that thing. You don't have to be on every show. You don't have to be in every Fed. Why would you be in every Fed? Say, okay, I'm going to be in every Fed, but I'm going to do the job in every Fed. So what does that make you? Right? Do you want
That's
just an
true.
appearance to be a job guy? Or do you want to have a run? Do you want to do something? Do you want to have something that people could latch onto? To do a one and done in AEW, to go there for a night and say, yeah, I was Aaliyah. Why would I want to get beat up on TV just for one night?
Yeah, you'd want to go back for at least a program to get somebody over.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do, right? That's the
Now,
main thing.
now
Go
I
ahead.
want to talk about some SummerSlam stuff. Obviously, that happened in Nashville the night before
Yes.
Ric Flair's last match. And
Before
the
I go
first
on, before you go on, I know you got good. Guys, those are my thoughts. Any of the boys who are listening to this, I mean this with the utmost respect. This is just my views on how I was raised in the wrestling business. Okay. So please, nobody take it to heart. I just look at things in a different perspective. I'd rather sit in a suit and tie on the sidelines and protect my legacy and protect myself than to be in there jumping around when I don't need to be. If my
Mhm.
presence was needed for a specific moment, then I would consider something.
That's fair.
But it has great show, great production. I only hope that that little thing could kickstart Memphis wrestling again, and then wrestling could be great because that's wrestling 101. Go
That's
ahead.
fair. That's fair. So over to SummerSlam, we saw one Logan Paul face The Miz in what I
Yes.
thought was a very, very good match. And I want to credit The Miz. I'm not sure if he's the one obviously working a program with Logan Paul. I'm sure they've worked together. But man, everybody kind of knocks The Miz for he can only do this. His abilities are limited. He came from a reality show. I'll tell you what, if The Miz's role, like we talked about this, the rest
Yeah.
of his time is to help, like in these celebrity type matches, get new people over. Logan Paul impressed me, but what about you, Vito? I thought that was a hell of a match, very entertaining, and
Guys,
I know he comes in, doesn't go through the proper protocols and working his way up, but I mean they put him in that spot and he delivered. From my point of view, what did you think?
guys, that's why sometimes I think like everybody knocks the UFC and they say they don't pay enough, they don't take care of the guys or nothing, but they do give out match bonuses $50,000. I would have gave the Miz and Logan Paul 50 grand for match bonus because that was a good match. He did awesome. He did great. He did very good. Wish him nothing but the best. He did work with the Miz, and everybody gives the Miz a bunch of shit. But the Miz is a true professional.
He's entertaining.
Congratulations, congratulations, Miz. I love you, Mike. We go back from when you first started, even with your wife, and I know both of you from back in the day. You did awesome. Great, great match. Great stuff. I loved every bit of it.
Now, they had a pretty quick match with Liv and Ronda Rousey, which was like Ronda made her tap out, but the ref saw a pin. And so
Yeah.
Liv retained, Ronda snapped, beat up the ref. Guess who's turning heel? They're playing it off kayfabe. She's suspended,
Right.
fined. Finally, like Ronda needs this. So, what's your whole thoughts on that? I wanted to point that out more than anything else because Ronda's needed this change. And what do you think is going to happen now?
Okay. Ronda Rousey definitely needed to change the scenery, definitely needed to go heel. She does not have the personality to be a babyface. She's a killer. I hope they bring Shayna Baszler, and a couple other UFC fighters that they have in the mix, and they get a kick-ass women's group, that would be something to watch. Maybe a mouthpiece for Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
That would be something also. The advocate Paul Heyman working for Ronda Rousey. That would be awesome. It was a banana peel finish, slip finish. Okay, you got to keep Liv Morgan on there. They didn't want to put the belt on Ronda Rousey. They wanted to go a different route. They like Liv Morgan as a babyface with the belt. She's learning how to be champion. It is what it is, guys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everybody can't have their moment. But if Ronda Rousey turns this into a great heel moment, she could be one of the best heels in the business.
I agree. Now, the main event.
Go ahead.
Finally, Brock and Roman got the time, got the opportunity. If you go back and look at their feud,
Right.
the first time it kind of started was in San Francisco, San Jose, WrestleMania 31, where they had the main event, and then Seth Rollins cashed in halfway in. Brock and Roman, and I know Roman was way younger then, was having a hell of a match. Like, they had chemistry. They were going hard. But everything they've had since then, the two just didn't seem like the booking was off. The chemistry wasn't there. The match was cut short for whatever reason. And I thought at SummerSlam, the tractor, the gimmick with Brock, it was kind of old Stone Cold thing, but I thought it worked well. I love the visual effects. And I told you, now with Vince gone, I don't know what to say on a month-to-month basis. But the plan always was to get Roman Reigns a record or modern day record reign. And he's now at 700 days. And I know you keep picking Brock, picking this and that. So what was your thought on that main event?
Okay.
And Roman keeping the title. And from what I hear, Brock may be sticking around. I don't know what he's going to do, but not going away. He looked like he had fun. Brock had fun that night. What do you think?
Brock Lesnar is probably one of the best wrestlers to get guys over in the business. He's learned his craft. Okay. And when you look at the stuff he's done with other great wrestlers in the company for the WWE, he's done a tremendous job. Maybe at a point he didn't like Roman, but they've grown a relationship. They've gotten chemistry. Everything is cool, right? I think Vince McMahon not giving Brock that extra edge to walk away and do what he wants because he's Vince's boy being taken away helped Brock moving forward to be a team player. Hey, who else is going to pay you $12 million a year to wrestle at the WWE?
Yeah, for like
Nobody.
5 or 6 matches.
Right. So if Brock is now has a change of heart, I would think he has a good relationship with Triple H. I think we could see better things in a more creative way for Brock Lesnar to help the business grow. He doesn't have that Vince etiquette.
This could be like Attitude Era stuff, like with Stone Cold. Brock could get a lot of farming equipment in the buildings and have fun and make for good segments. And he doesn't necessarily have to be in title pictures for this run. But more importantly, Vito, go ahead.
But the big thing is that not to be over, you don't need a title. The title is a prop to get you over.
That's true.
So
I agree.
If Roman Reigns didn't have the title, would you watch?
Absolutely, with this current storyline, as long as he's kicking ass, or they're healing, and as a group, they're doing what they need to do to get over. I would agree. He's over.
Would you watch as much if he wasn't champion?
But the thing is, this gimmick, this bloodline, head of the table, this makes sense for him to have the title because of the storyline. I totally think when he finally loses it, he takes his time off, goes away, comes back as that baby face, and finally is over as a baby face, which is what they always wanted because of this run. And he finally changed fans' minds saying, hey, this guy can actually play both sides of the coin here. He's entertaining. We'll cheer him if he's a good guy. That's what I think is going to happen with Roman. When is he going to lose? Is he going to lose to McIntyre over in Wales in the stadium? That's what's up next.
No. Definitely not.
So
Now,
I agree. You think Roman will retain against Drew over there in Drew's homeland area? I think Roman's going to win. I
guys,
think that's going to continue. It's going to keep going and going and going until they're ready to get the next guy over.
do you want to know who the one person who's been exposed more than anybody?
Who?
It's Theory.
Oh, he's kind of, think about it. He's got a title shot opportunity with that briefcase. He's tapping to Lashley. He's getting beat up left and right. You're right, because say he cashes in.
Right.
You're cashing in on luck. What's he supposed to do with the title? Gonna lose it right away because we think that this guy's a loser now, right?
He doesn't look like he looks like a U.S. champion, looks like an intercontinental champion. He does not look like a heavyweight champion. I'm sorry. In the way they're making him come out, smack people with the briefcase, and be a punk, he just no thank you. No thank you. He doesn't have it. And they don't have anybody in the box ready to be heavyweight champion except for Brock or Randy Orton or Edge or some of the guys who have experience.
Now look at a Theory now in this point in his career, and
Hmm.
look at a John Cena U.S. title era rap gimmick. Before we knew Cena was going to get pushed to the moon, did you see the it factor with Cena back then versus where Theory is now, where maybe he doesn't have that it factor?
Cena
Like
just had a different Cena had a different vibe. Cena had a different look. He had a different body. This
yeah,
kid is
and the mic skills too.
right. This kid is
Yeah.
smaller. This kid doesn't look like a killer. He doesn't look like he can kick ass. At least Cena with the body and the way he presented himself as a street thug, he can come out and he can represent.
Yeah.
This kid, who's he beating up? He's hitting guys with briefcases and they're laughing at
And
him.
he's tapping out to Lashley. I think counting 2 matches and then just like a scrum, he tapped out to Lashley like 3 times, dude, in the past few weeks or month. That's it, Vito. Roman Reigns is still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. So
Okay.
we will see. Anything on your mind that you would like to add that you didn't already cover?
I just want to say, Ric Flair, I have watched you for a very long time and I watched your greatness. Sometimes maybe not everybody's opinion is of what your opinion is on how you should do wrestling, but in my mind, I just want to remember Ric Flair back in the day and not what I saw or what I've been seeing. The Four Horsemen, J.J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Barry Windham,
Tully.
Those guys, Tully Blanchard, those guys were something special. And the way it comes off today, the people like nostalgia, but when you're out there and you're trying to represent, like Jeff Jarrett, like you mentioned, Jeff Jarrett, he came out and he kicked ass and looked like he wanted to get back into business. But he's got a production job. He's got a high executive job. Does he
Who would
give
be
up?
Who would be the 4 horsemen of the Big Vito brand? You?
Me? I would not. Guys, I wouldn't even say a 4 horsemen. That's being disrespectful to the original guys who made it. I would never put myself in that thing. But if we did an all-time FBI group,
there you go. That's fair. That's fair.
Fair, right? Me and Johnny the Bull, with Chuck Palumbo and Nunzio.
Okay.
We would definitely rock stuff.
I like that.
If we were ever given a chance to be a foursome and come and do some damage as a foursome, the Big V Mafia, that would be great. That would be Vito's version of something. Remember, guys, I was part of the Baldies. They were a good group. I left, right? The NYC never got a chance to take off. The Mamalukes were great.
Yep. Tag champs, baby.
Me and Nunzio and the FBI never got a chance to be tag champs, right? But if you put the FBI with Big Vito in there back in the day, guys, we would have been probably one of the greatest foursomes to fight the Shield, the Wyatts, and any other group they have. And that's because I know myself from I can handle myself, and I know the guys can carry themselves, and to have JJ Dillon as our manager.
Oh, I would get the suits.
Oh yeah,
I would get it. Yep, clean shaven suit. You know it. Clipboard, whatever I needed. Vito, that's it, man. Another great show. Yeah, Monday night. I know you got things to do, and the people want to go watch Monday Night Raw, this Triple H era.
Yeah.
That's it. You can follow Vito on Twitter at the Big Vito Brand. You can follow me at NoDQ_Virtue. Be sure to tune in right here on the BigVitoBrand.com for the sit down. Men of Business, Virtue's Rage will be back. And of course, Getting Color. But that's it for Big Vito LaGrasso. I am Virtue, folks. And guess what? Thanks for watching and listening. We will do this again next time. So we'll see you soon.